So just last week, my agency brought in 5 new clients in one day. You know, bringing in 5 clients in one day, I genuinely kid you not, that is something I would have dreamed about before I started my agency. In fact, for the first year of running my agency, the most clients I ever signed in one day was probably 2. And even 2 clients in one day is pretty damn good. So I'm going to get my editor to pop up a screenshot of the payments from the 5 clients so that you can see this. So we'll get that up on the screen right now. And yeah, let's get into it. Let's discuss how did this happen. First, a very big caveat before I get into the details, which is the fact that most of the clients that sign up with my agency sign up on a 3-month contract, meaning that some of the clients decide to pay monthly, so 3 monthly installments for the first 3 months, and some decide to pay us up front in full for 3 months and they get a 10% discount. So in that screenshot, you'll see a total of, I think it's between 4 to 5K in revenue. So some of those are the monthly payments, which are a lot smaller, $400 or $500, and some are pay in full, which means that they might be 1.2, 1.3, 1.4K for the entire 3 months. So it's a mix. I believe it's about a 50-50 split between the ones that paid in full and the ones that didn't. So I want to discuss 2 main things with you in this video, right? Point number 1 is the clients that signed up directly on that day that came from sales calls, and the clients that signed up not from a sales call, but for another reason. So right now in my agency, we have anywhere really from 10 to 30 sales calls a week. It really just depends if we're in a ramping phase or if we're trying to maintain or if we're trying to scale down, because there are periods when we do that. So a handful of those 5 clients came directly on that day from sales calls on that day. I believe 1 or 2 came directly, meaning that they signed up on the call with my salesperson. That's another very important point. Right now, I'm not taking any sales calls myself. I have a team member taking all of the calls in the agency. So for the other 3 to 4 clients that signed up, they did have a call with my salesperson, but they didn't have the call that day. In fact, 2 of them, I believe, were 2 weeks ago and 2 of them were a week before. I really wanted to bring up this point because when you watch content like mine, a lot of times you'll assume that every client signs up directly on the call, and that's definitely not the case for my agency. For some agencies, that might be the case, and every client they signs up on the call. For us, it's probably 20 or 30% that sign up on the call. The other 70 to 80% sign up after the call, meaning that they've taken some time, they've reviewed some details with a business partner or whatever, and then they've signed up with us. And a reason that we don't mind this is because we have really good follow-ups. So we know that as long as we did a good job on the sales call and really gave them a good picture of what we do, and we didn't push them too hard to close the deal, we can then hit them with follow-ups that really nurture them to the point where they say, you know what? Now is the time. I'm going to sign up with these guys. That's another point I want to stress. You know, you don't have to close every client on the phone. And in fact, trying to close every client on the phone does not always end very well. I can guarantee you if we tried to close all of those prospects on the call directly, 1 or 2 of them would not have signed up ever. Whereas because we didn't go with that approach, they signed up 1 or 2 weeks later. And so how we get people to book calls like this with my agency is very simple. And this is the exact methodology and strategy that I teach inside my program. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there's like one secret message or one secret email that we send that magically books all these meetings. It's a combination of systems and people that know what they're doing. We tested a script for outreach for months before we found something that worked consistently. We then automated the process with a combination of virtual assistants, Zapier, and ActiveCampaign. And we do some things that most agency owners don't do that really help us to book those meetings. Because most businesses are getting a ton of emails and DMs and messages from other agency owners. So the way we approach things is slightly different. And that's why we can sign 5 clients in a day. It's because we're not doing what everybody else is doing. And this is why inside my program, you know, I don't just teach what I do. I teach what I do, but I'll also work with you to find out what's your unique process. Because that's how you stand out these days. You can't just offer the same thing that everybody else is doing to the same businesses and expecting them to just pay you money. You have to do something different. Your outreach has to be creative. It's got to be value driven. It's got to be educational. It's got to position you as an authority figure in their eyes. And so how you're going to go and replicate what I've just done is really a combination of a few things. First off, you've got to dial in your offer. You've got to make sure that what you offer to a business owner is something they actually want. In my agency, we've got one offer, we've got one niche. We then have a rock solid lead generation outreach system. Again, a combination of virtual assistants, Zapier, and ActiveCampaign that routinely book us in meetings on autopilot. And I can say on autopilot because I don't have to lift a finger for that process to happen. And then we have a dialed in process for sales where my salesperson can follow the system I've built and tested myself with over 1,000 sales calls and close multiple deals every single week. And it's not magic, it's just through trial and error of testing tactics, strategies, and systems and getting them to a point where they work routinely. And that is why I am, so focused on building systems in my agency and for my students. It's because that's how you scale. You don't scale with one message, with one outreach script, with one sales tactic. You scale with a bunch of systems working coherently together that have been proven to work time and time again. That's how you scale. I'm sitting here looking at the title of the video that I've written down. I've got my laptop here, right? And I've got the title written out just to keep me focused on the topic at hand. And it's crazy to be making a video like this because, I did not just fall into this. This has been true, just time and time and time invested into myself and my business. I thought about starting an agency probably 4 years ago. I was too scared to take action. I did not bite the bullet. I feared failure. I feared what people were going to think of me. And when I eventually did start, I didn't see results for a really, really long time. Like it took months to sign my first client. And how I feel right now where I've got this business on autopilot and it's working incredibly well and I'm pretty much removed from all the processes, it's the same feeling that I got when I signed my first client. The joy I felt from that first client was euphoria. Like I cannot describe that feeling. And so if you're sitting there watching this video and you know that you've been either trying to make this work and you haven't gotten a client yet, or you've been thinking about this and following my content, just take the leap. Just take the leap, put in the time, put in the effort. I promise you it is worth every minute. I know it's a short video. I hope you got some value from this breakdown of the 5 clients in one day and have a great rest of your day.